Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to discuss here about class 11's trigonometry chapters, and the topic is domain and range of trigonometric functions. This is the topic today. And domain and range, this particular two words actually are related to functions. So, or sets also you can say. Suppose these two are two sets and a function will work like this, means function will take the values of this one and will produce the values of this set. Suppose this is a, this is b. I'm just giving you a very simple example of function. Suppose I'm taking f of x is equals to 2x. Okay, so f of x equals to 2x. This is a function of x. Now you can see that whatever x's values we are taking, obviously they will belong to set A. Like suppose f of 1 equals to 2 into 1 equals to 2, f of 2 equals to 2 into 2 equals to 4. It means you can see that 1, 2, these are 1, 2, 3, whatever we are taking in place of x's value, they are belonging to the set A, and the result we are getting like 2, 4 and so on. These results are actually the elements of the set B. So this set B is the range set of f. That means f function, this function is giving the value for these x's values, these one. So that's the range set, and a function is operating on a particular set. So that first set is the domain. Okay, now one thing we know that suppose sin x we are taking or cos x we are taking, x can be anything, any real number. Why any real number? Because already we told in the previous session that radian measurement and real number measurements are actually same. So x can be measured as angles, angles in radians, as well as the points on the real number line. So x can have any value, any real number, any real value. Now sin x and cos x, these two are function of x, and if we go in detail study, then we will be getting that 0 less equals to sin x less equals to 1, sorry, not 0, minus 1 less equals to sin x less equals to 1, and minus 1 less equals to cos x less equals to 1. So we will get these two, and these two are very important property you can say, or these two are very important result that always will going to help you. Now just depending on this, and there will be many afford other trigonometric functions also. So look at the table on your screen. So you can see that first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant, there are 4 columns and there are 6 rows for 6 trigonometric functions. Okay, now in the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant, all 6 trigonometric functions movement are recorded here, or you can say they are actually going like this. So You just look at this. I'm just giving you very simple example, not example, just first one I'm just explaining that sine in first quadrant increases from 0 to 1. First quadrant already we know that sine's value increases from 0 to 1. How we know it? Because in class 10 already we have done these values, that is in first quadrant 0 to 90 degrees. So sine 0 0, sine 30 half, sine 45 degree 1 by root 2, then sine 60 degree is root 3 by 2, then sine 90 degree is equals to 1. That means quite obvious that increases from 0 to 1. In second quadrant it will decrease from 1 to 0. Third quadrant it will decrease again from 0 to minus 1, and fourth quadrant it will again increase from minus 1 to 0. So in this way these all trigonometric functions will form their own loops in the graph. So look at the graph now. Look, the first graph is for sin x, second graph is for cos x. Now sin x, you can see that from 0 to pi there is a loop which is positive. Then from pi to 2 pi, that's negative. Then from 2 pi to 3 pi again positive, and then again negative. In this way there is a spiral structure. Sin x and cos x will be little bit different, where sin x starts from 0 means origin, and cos x starts from 1. Okay, 0, 1 point. So these only are the differences. Coming to tan x graph is, you can see that it's not continuous graph. Like sin x and cos x, they are continuous, they don't have any breakage. But tan x, cot x, these two are not continuous graph because they have different parts. Like minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 for tan x, it's a part. Then another part in the same structure but somewhere else. So they are not connected to each other. They will be going like this upward and downward, but they will never meet one another. Coming to the next figure, that is sec x and cosec x. These are also not continuous graph, as you can see from the figure. So they will also form different loops in different region. Exercise 3.2 has 10 questions before you. So I'm doing question number 1 and question number 9 or 10. Okay, rest of the questions I hope you all can do by your own. So let me do it. Exercise 3.2 question number 1. The question is, find the values of other 5 trigonometric functions. So cos x is given as minus half. X lies in third quadrant. Okay, now cos x equals to minus half. It means directly we can say that sec x equals to minus 2. Okay, because it's reciprocal of cos, so sec x equals to minus 2. Now we know that sin square x plus cos square x equals to 1. So sin square x equals to 1 minus cos square x. That means 1 minus cos square x means 1 by 4. Because minus half whole square, that means 1 by 4. So it's actually coming 3 by 4. That means sin x is equals to plus minus root 3 by 2. Okay, plus minus root 3 by 2. Now look, x lies in third quadrant. In the last video I told that all sin tan cos method, all sin tan cos. So here all positive, sin positive, tan positive, cos positive. That means in third quadrant sign is negative. So we have to omit the plus sign and we have to take the negative sign here. So we will write it as x lies in third quadrant. Sin x equals to minus root 3 by 2. We have got sin x, sec x and cos x already given. Sin x we have got, that means cosec x directly can be taken as minus 2 by root 3. Once we have got all four values, we will be going to tan x. Now tan x is equals to sin x divided by cos x. That is equals to sin x means root 3 by 2 minus root 3 by 2 divided by minus half is the cos. So minus minus will be cancelled, 2 will be cancelled, so it's coming root 3. Then cot x and tan x obviously will be positive because it is in third quadrant. X lies in third quadrant, so tan x obviously will be positive. And cot x also will be positive. Now cot x equals to 1 by 10, that means 1 by root 3. So we have got this one, and this one. So these 5 are the answers. Okay. Coming to question number 9. Question number 9 is find the values of trigonometric function that is sine of minus 11 pi divided by 3. How will you find it out? So look at the process that I am doing. It's very important. Sine of minus as it is. Now 11 pi, we will make it anyhow this denominator's multiple. So the nearest multiple is 12. So it's 12 pi minus 11 pi, that means minus 12 pi plus pi is equals to minus 11 pi. So we can break minus 11 pi into this way. So we can write it that minus 12 pi by 3 plus pi by 3. Now please don't write sine this plus sine this. Okay. I hope now in class 11 you will not do that mistake. So sine of minus 12 pi by 3, that means minus 4 pi plus pi by 3. Okay, now how we will count it out? Minus 4 pi, that means negative angle, so anti-clockwise or clockwise? Negative angle means clockwise. So we will start from 0, suppose here. Okay, if we go one round clockwise, we will complete 2 pi angle. We will go again, we will complete minus 4 pi angle, then plus pi by 3, that means now anti-clockwise. So from here to here, because this is 60 degree or pi by 3. So this is pi by 3. Now the angle ultimately is coming in first quadrant. Now first quadrant everything is positive, right? So we will be getting, finally we are getting it as sine of pi by 3. Why? Because look, from starting from here 2 pi, so it is dismissed. then again another 2 pi, so it is again dismissed. So what we are getting which is not dismissed, that is pi by 3 left. So we are having sine pi by 3. Now this is in first quadrant, so obviously sine pi by 3, normal sine pi by 3. Sine pi by 3 means sine 60 degree, that you all know. Sine 60 degree means root 3 by 2, and that will be the answer. Okay. Similarly, you can do it for all other questions of 6, 7, 8, 10. Okay. So this is all about today's session, students. I hope you have understood and you can now apply your knowledge in the questions of exercise 3.2 and furthermore. So we will meet in the next video with a different topic of trigonometry. Till then, have a good day.